Greetings folks, and I hope you're all happy and healthy wherever you are in collecting land. And welcome back to the channel for another 1/6 scale figure preview. So, what are we looking at today? Well, it's sort of it's coming up very soon actually, the full pre-order for this figure. So I thought we'd take a look at the pictures that Inart have dropped of their 1/6 scale take on Ben Affleck as the legendary Batman from Zach Synders' Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, released back in 2016. Jesus, is it 10 years since this was released? Christ, I'm getting old. But before we dive in and take a look at the photos that Inart have dropped on us, I would like to send the usual Batmobile size shout out to everybody who supported the channel. And please drop a like and hype on this video as it helps other people find Go Figure. And if you haven't already, be sure to mash that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're not missing any of the 1/6 scale previews, reviews, news, tours, showcases, and all that other good stuff that we've got coming up. So let's dive in and have a look. Now, worth mentioning at this point as well, there will be a live stream going up. I think it's the day after. The pre-orders go up on the 10th. The live stream is on the 11th, and there's been very little information dropped about this particular figure. We've got a set of photos, but not an awful lot else. But more of that as we go along. Let's take a look at some of these photos. And the first shot is of the Ben Affleck head sculpt itself. And I must admit, the first time I saw this, I had two responses. First response was, wow, outstanding head sculpt, as we'd sort of come to expect from Inart. Looks absolutely phenomenal. And the second was a bit, hang on, that expression's quite sad. That's it's quite a morose expression that they've gone for here, but I think it sort of works. And there is, I believe, another head sculpt. Now, as I mentioned at the top there, it's very difficult to find out any information on this particular figure. Inart have been seriously cagey in the information they've dropped. I couldn't find out whether we're looking at a rooted hair head sculpt as well as a sculpted hair head sculpt, which will be in keeping with Inart's track record with other figures that they've done. They tend to either stick with the rooted hair or give us both rooted and sculpted. The pictures here all seem to be sculpted, I think, so I'm not really 100% certain whether they're getting a rooted hair head sculpt with this one. Let me know in the comment section below if you know whether there's going to be both here. But first impressions, gotta say, absolutely excellent. Sort of the standards we've come to expect from Inart. The detailing on here, the 5 o'clock shadow, the skin tones and textures, the pores, the individual pores picked out on the skin there. The overall sculpt, I think, is unmistakably Ben Affleck, unmistakably Bats, and it just works all over. Sculpted hair, as I mentioned there, you've got those individual strands falling down over the forehead there, the creased area between the eyes. The eyes are absolutely the right colour, super glassy, spot on. And as I mentioned, skin tones and textures look absolutely excellent. I was just a little bit, and this is more a personal taste thing, I was just a little bit, it just looks a little bit grumpy. It just looks like somebody's reversed over his dog. Maybe I would have gone for a slightly different expression, but I can't fault the sculpt. I can't fault the paint applications, even down to those sort of micro lines underneath the eyes there. Overall, stunning head sculpt. On to the next. We've got a side angle of that head sculpt with slightly more dim lighting here. I think that is a superb photo, and it really does show why Inart are at on or about the top of their game, if I can put my teeth in. I think that looks phenomenal. That profile shot, just superb. That could be a photograph of Ben Affleck as far as I'm concerned. Once again, sculpted plastic hair there, right colour, on point. Those little grey flecks, forgive the pun, in the side of the hair there. That 5 o'clock shadow, that dimple in the chin, all absolutely nailed on as far as I can see. Superb shot, that one. If you are a BVS fan, Zach Synders fan, Affleck fan, I can see this one landing very well indeed. First all shot, the first distance shot of him on the base, and I've got to say, it looks like they've nailed the proportions on here. Quite an individual Batman, the Batfleck. He was, as we all know, he was super chunky. He was slightly darker. He was more violent. He was a massive chunk of a guy, and I think Inart have captured that beautifully here. Now, obviously, I mean, other companies have tried this in 1/6 scale. I've got Hot Toys' take on this. It would be interesting to get these two side by side. I think the price tag on this is going to be in a little bit of excess of the Hot Toys version, but that suit looks absolutely excellent, and it's a relatively simple suit for Batman here, as we saw in the movie. I'm just going to lean in here. Looks like they've got the striations and the coloration in that suit absolutely nailed on. That sort of grey weave almost with the scratches, the white scratches on the legs and on the chest area look absolutely phenomenal. Be interesting to see how they've done this. As I say, they're not giving an awful lot away in the blurb. It really is nominal. I suppose we're going to have to wait for the 10th and the 11th to find out if there's a rooted hair version, is there a deluxe version, and to maybe get some more details on the materials that have been used here. But overall, yeah, that outfit looks excellent. They've caught the muscularity perfectly as far as I can tell. The boots there, no real indication of whether this is a split cut boot design. It would be nice to see that, obviously. This one's going to be one for dynamic posing, and as I always say, I suspect this one's going to be a vlogger's dream as well. This thing is going to photograph beautifully. The gauntlets look absolutely on point there. The cowl, that all important cowl, which will open up many a discussion, no doubt, looks very, very good. The smaller ears, and I'm going to assume that we're going for interchangeable mouth plates here, and the cape as well, but I think we get a closer look at that cape. But vital we get the cape right. We know how problematic it can be for some companies who shall remain unnamed to get capes right. I don't think it's been an issue for Inart, and I can't see them dropping the ball here. That utility belt as well looks nailed on. On to the next. Now, uncowled head sculpt. And it just works. It works. That muscularity, as we mentioned there. Is this going to be that material over a custom body, over a unique body design for this figure? I'm sort of going to assume it is, and I'm going to lean in again here. Yeah, the intricacies of that weave look great. The gauntlets looks like they're made out of plastic, and obviously we're going to get a multitude of interchangeable hands as well, no doubt. Those gloves look very, very well sculpted. With the knuckle sections on the back there to look like leather. Overall, very impressive. I can't wait to get even closer to this head sculpt. We've got one of him carrying the gun, and yeah, that looks very, very impressive. The gun itself, I would expect nothing less than very, very high standards. It looks like they've nailed it on. Regulars to the channel will know I have sort of a love-hate relationship with Zach Snyder. I think, and this is, don't shoot the messenger, a bit controversial I know, but I think both Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill deserved a better movie than we got. It has moments of genius in places, particularly where Batman's concerned, in my opinion, but overall I think it's a bit of a car crash. But as I say, that's just my opinion. I still love this figure. On to the next shot. Once again, we're just getting a bit closer now to Bats himself, and yeah, detailing looks absolutely excellent, even down to the scratches on the utility belt itself and that buckle, and those white scratches across that super stylized and very large bat symbol on the chest there. Yeah, interesting to see, as I said before, what material they're going to be using here, but overall the cowl looks phenomenal as well. On to the next side view here, and this is really, really important. I can almost hear tape measures measuring necks here. Super thick in the neck area in the movie, super thick all over, to be honest with you, but it looks like they've captured that just right there. Wasn't, for me, the Hot Toys version was close, but no cigar. This one, I think, absolutely nails it on. Super thick neck area there, creases in that cowl, and once again, tiny little ears, and we've even got that sort of ever such a slight point, almost like to a beak almost in the cowl area as well. Looking phenomenal, really, really good. On to the next one in shadow here to capture the mood of the Batfleck. I love that shot. That just looks very, very good, and we can see that detailing again there. I love the subdued lighting on the cowl there, where it doesn't pick out the eyes. The eyes are just black holes. and you can see a little bit of that 5 o'clock shadow and that downturned mouth, looking very, very good. Okay, fully illuminated this time, so we can see the detailing on that cowl. Now that mouth plate, I've got to say, very, very good. That is some of the best 5 o'clock shadow stroke stubble I think I've seen in a long, long time. Unmistakably, Ben Affleck from even from the lower mouth plate there. Eyes look on point, the creases in the cowl, that leather look in the sculpting and in the paint applications on the cowl itself, all nailed on. We see the details at the top of the cowl where it meets the cape as well. And sometimes this is where other companies can drop the ball in how that attaches. How does the cape fit underneath it? It looks very, very uniform there, which I'm liking a lot. So it'll be interesting to see how it works when you put the uncowled head sculpt on. I'm assuming there's going to be a neck assembly there to replace the one that we're seeing. But yeah, overall, very, very impressed indeed. Another one of the uncowled head sculpt. Now this is where I'm sort of questioning here, and I'm going to lean in again here just to check that is a sculpted. Yeah, that looks sculpted to me. This is where I'm thinking that there may be two sculpted head sculpts here, because the hairstyle is different. Obviously sculpted plastic, but this time we've got the swept back look rather than the fringe forward look. But still, once again, that swept back look looks great, screen accurate. Individual strands are picked out, the colour's great, even down into the almost into the roots of the hair net there, and that's odd because obviously it is sculpted plastic at the top, but it almost looks rooted where it's meeting the hairline at the top there. What are your thoughts on this head sculpt? I would be fascinated to hear your take on this. This particular shot, I was impressed with the right hand side of the face, if that makes sense, but the left hand side of the face seemed to lose something. I don't know whether it's the expression, the eye, or the lighting. I could be completely wrong, but let me know what you think in the comments section below. But overall, yeah, unmistakably Batfleck, this one. That looks better to me, but I think that is, yeah, next level stuff from Inart. Super impressed with this. All the usual suspects that we mentioned before, skin tones, skin textures, etc, etc. On to the next one. Full frontal shot of the head there. That's the mug shot, and yeah, looking very good. I think it was probably the lighting and the camera angle on that previous shot that put me off, but I am, yeah, chestnut brown eyes, on point. We've even got what looks like 5 o'clock shadow on the neck area as well. So often we get that nasty jarring when you've got a character that has the 5 o'clock shadow or the stubble, and then it just suddenly cuts off. Now, unless you've shaved it that way, you're going to get it on your neck, and I just think it looks better on this figure. So yeah, chef's kiss to Inart on this one. Sideways shot, different lighting. Let's take a look at those boots. Those boots, very, very simple. Going to assume that they're sculpted plastic there and not some form of material. They look great. And once again, that muscularity, abs, lats, bis, tris, it's all going on. Super, super prominent and defined in that that sort of dark grey suit with the highlights in it. On to the next. Similar shot here, but this time holding the gun. And we can see some of the detailing on that gun there. It looks absolutely on point. On to the next. Another sideways shot. They like their sideways shots, do Inart. But yeah, liking that a lot. That cape falls very, very well indeed. Completely straight. Be interested to see what material they've used in there. But yeah, overall, and the lines of it as it flows across the shoulders and down towards the bat symbol. All nailed on. Yeah, another side shot of that head sculpt. Even down to the blemish there. You've got the blemish on the right cheek, and it's almost as though there are hints of brown and blonde in that 5 o'clock shadow. It doesn't just look uniform. It doesn't look just brown. Can't wait to get this one in hand. I think this looks stunning. I've got a few Inart pieces in the collection, not a huge amount, probably 4 or 5. I tend to be slightly pickier with the Inart ones, simply because of the high price that these things command. But I could see this one wending its way in, being a Batman completionist and all. But yeah, great head sculpt. On to the next. Got another long shot there. We're seeing some more of that detail because of the lighting on the utility belt. And we've got him clutching the batarang, which no doubt will come as a accessory. Another moody shot in the dark there, not giving too much away, but yeah, I'm liking this a lot. It's got some real presence. This is where, and I think this is the only shot where we see a different mouth plate on that cowl. It's more, this is sort of a mouth slightly open, teeth exposed, but what we can see in this dim lighting I think looks very good. Those lips are the nice right colour, the teeth look very well sculpted, and yeah, very probably worth zooming in actually and having a look at those teeth, but I've got to say, for what we can see of them, they look very impressive. Now we're going to have movable eyes, that would explain this one, looking off up towards the camera. And once again, we've got the closed mouth mouth plate there, looking very good. Yeah, what can I say? Excellent. A shot from the back here now. Interesting shot this. I mean, I'm not quite sure what they were trying to achieve here, other than show us the cape, but it's still, you know, it does what it says on the tin. Yeah, that material in the cape. Now, I'm not going to even hazard a guess at what they're using in there, but it looks very impressive. And those two folds at the shoulder there, screen accurate, so on point, and he's clutching the rifle as well. Actually, just as it back to that, you can see some creasing in the back of that cowl there, and you can see that thickness and the bone structure underneath it. So yeah, thumbs up here. Some close-up of the details, close-up on that gauntlet and the and that utility belt with that gold sort of almost striated paint application, which is on both the blades on the gauntlet and on the utility belt itself. Very good. Close up on those gloves, looking very nicely sculpted. Different textures in there. What looks like silver dry brushing to accent the knuckles, and we've got, I believe, is the brand here, the Bat brand that he uses in the movie. Yes, we're looking at the brand here now. I think there are two of these. I think there's one which is just metallic painted, and then there's one that's got this red paint application to make it look like it's glowing with the heat. Like that a lot. Looks very good. Going to assume those are sculpted plastic. Another close-up there of the detailing on the utility belt and on the gauntlet again. Can't be faulted. That weave looks like it's been captured beautifully in that suit. Onto some of the accessories. So we've got the grapnel gun here in various stages of firing. The detailing looks very good, looks screen accurate. I have always been a huge exponent of Inarts accessories. I think they really do. They're some of the best accessories that we're going to find in the 1/6 scale world, in my opinion. It always draws me back to the Inart Paul Atreides and his backpack and all the stuff that was in there and how beautifully it was done. And even though 90% of it was never going to be out of that backpack, it's the attention to detail, and they don't seem to have missed a beat here either. Paint applications on there, that handle on the grapnel gun itself to emulate wood looks brilliant. Detailing and paint applications look great. On to the next. That rifle, we've already seen it, looks excellent, and you've got cartridges that go with it as well. I think there are two shots here. I think it's got a cocking action, which suggests to me that those sort of grenade type things can be put into the weapon itself there, yeah, with the cocking action, but leaning in once again. Metallic paint applications look great, as does the weathering. And the rifle, yeah, it was always going to come with the rifle. Once again, some great detailing, great sculpting, great paint apps. And oh yes, some more accessories, and it's the brands again. We've got the canister, we've got the batarangs. I'm going to assume we've got two different styles of batarangs here as well. I'm going to assume plastic with a metallic paint application, the glowing brand and the cool brand. And I think apart from the base, that's pretty much it. Now, this is the base that Inart are going to be giving us. Relatively straightforward, and I've said this before on the channel. I have a lot of time for Inart bases. They have a lot of class. They don't overpower a figure. There's a temptation these days, I'll just point to this guy next to me, to go absolutely batshit bonkers with diorama bases, and they can have an enormous footprint, detract from the figure in my opinion. They do work with some, like this guy. I think this works, but I like the direction that Inart go. It's just the right amount. It doesn't draw away from the figure, and once again they've gone for that rectangle shape here. It just looks like a plain concrete slab with some detailing at the back. Nothing else going on there. You've got that bat symbol on the front, obviously. Now, I'm going to assume that this is the magnetic system that the Inart use on a regular basis. Don't know whether they've upgraded it recently, not picked up a figure from them for a while. I have a love-hate relationship with their bases. I love the bases and how they look, but I've always had an issue with that magnet system, so whether that's been upgraded, let me know in the comment section below. Getting into it is a ball ache with that stupid circular thing that you have to try and remove and won't come off. And then the magnets themselves for me are a little bit too small, and they don't cover enough acreage of the base itself, so you're pretty limited to a museum pose or a semi-dynamic pose within a very, very small radius on the base itself. So yeah, that's the only real downside I have with Inart. The rest is just love. But yeah, I'm liking that a lot. Very simple, very classy. And that is it, folks. That is the last of the shots that Inart have given us of their BVS Batman, aka Ben Affleck. So what are your thoughts on this piece? Are you an Inart fan? Are you a BVS fan? Will you be picking this piece up to go with the Henry Cavill Superman figure? Are you not an Inart fanboy? Are you? Will you be ignoring this and hoping it goes away? Whatever it might be, please let me know in the comments section below. Nothing is off menu. So what have we got coming up on the channel? Well, in the not too distant future, we have plenty more reviews, that's for sure. We've got reviews from Inart, obviously, Hot Toys, Susu Toys, Present Toys, Caustic Plastic, X06, Iconic Studios, the list goes on. In fact, the next one, pretty much the next 6 scale figure I think going up for full review will be the Iconic Studios Highlander figure, Christopher Lambert as Connor McLeod. Looking forward to that one. And we've also got the quarter scale take from Blitzway, the quarter scale statue take of Al Pacino as Tony Montana from that 80s masterpiece that is Scarface. And there's plenty more news, previews, showcases and tours and all that other stuff. So as I mentioned at the top there, be sure to mash that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you don't miss any of it. And I suppose all that remains for me to say is, as always, a massive thank you for watching. And until next time on the channel, take care of yourselves and happy collecting.